Welcome back, everybody, to another top of the list Mandalorian review. This week, we'll be reviewing Chapter 14, The Tragedy. Really great episode. Really excited to talk about this one. Today, we're recording, or at least I'm recording live from our new top of the list headquarters up here in the Bay Area. Dom moving up later today, and the rest of our episodes will be coming to you live from us in the same room. No more Zoom, so that should be fun. Get a little more stuff going on. But yeah, this was an awesome episode. Honestly, this was my favorite Mandalorian episode to have aired, directed by Robert Rodriguez. To me, the incomparable Robert Rodriguez, one of my favorites out there. But yeah, I have a lot of positives to say about this episode. Don't want to go into too many spoilers yet, but just so you guys know, 10 out of 10 for me, the best Mandalorian episode I've ever seen. Dom, I'm going to throw it over to you for your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and give my score. Want to give this one as high of a score as RB did, but I do want to give it the fair shake, and I have a few nitpicks to give this episode.
Yeah.
Not going to give it a low score by any means. I think that this one was on par with our season premiere. Going to also give this one a 9 out of 10. Definitely very action-packed episode. Yeah, a lot of great action sequences in this, and like you said, Robert Rodriguez absolutely delivers. Maybe we should talk about a few of his past films that we've seen. I know for sure that this one kind of reminded me of a few of the battle sequences in Alita: Battle Angel, which was his most recent film to come out, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, dude, this was a big surprise to me when I saw his name at the end. I mean, just the cut to black and then boom, directed by Robert Rodriguez. I was like, wow, that was like the closest thing that we could get to, one of the biggest names directing today, I think. And man, it was really impactful, I thought, to see his name up there on the big screen. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. Obviously both of us didn't know that he was going to be directing this episode. I had heard rumors that he was directing an episode, but I didn't know it was going to be this one. So yeah, what maybe explain a little bit more of your experiences with Robert Rodriguez, RB.
Yeah, so honestly, my indoctrination into Robert Rodriguez films was the Sin City films, and then later on Grindhouse, and this was definitely in a different style than those. Don't get me wrong, but either way, I mean, I thought his directorial style still showed through. Almost, with those, Sin City and Grindhouse films, of course, graphic novels that he converted into cinema. And, I love how he's able to keep that graphic novel sort of style. And I felt that way in this episode. I felt like it was directed like it was a converted graphic novel, which, we see the storyboard art in these films. Essentially, a lot of directors, that's what they're doing. They see the storyboard and they work from it as if it's like a graphic novel. So I really love what he did with it. And then, of course, without too many spoilers, he had some awesome character unveilings or returns this episode, which I think helped him a lot, but I loved how he handled it. Big time fan of this episode. Definitely Robert Rodriguez's style coming through, stylistic choices as a director, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, absolutely. So 10 out of 10 for RB. Like he said, the best Mandalorian episode in his opinion.
I do want to just put a quick asterisk there, because I know a lot of people are going to stick with, as you did as well, the Jedi as being the best Mandalorian episode, which I also gave a 10 out of 10. Another brilliant episode. Why I give this one the edge, and it has nothing to do with liking one episode more than the other. For certain, the only reason is because I'm not done with the Clone Wars yet. And of course, the Jedi was an episode that featured a lot of Ahsoka Tano, who I'm just learning about. Some of the characters in this episode were characters who were established in our original Star Wars trilogy. And I think I just got more nostalgic about this episode, which is why I give this one the slight edge, just in my opinion, over the Jedi. And I can understand why people who, have been bought in, who have done, all of the Clone Wars, all of Rebels, would prefer the Jedi, because it was an awesome episode too, don't get me wrong. But, this is why I give the slight edge to the tragedy.
And that's fair too, bro. I could totally see, you giving the edge to this one, and that makes total sense. I was curious as to why, you would give which one is better than the other, and I could tell totally that this one had a different style to it than the Jedi. The Jedi was more of like a samurai film,
Yeah, that's a
And
good
Star
analogy.
Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like samurai and Star Wars together, and Ahsoka was a samurai, and there was just so much backstory and questions that we had that wanted to be answered, and they were given some of our answers and some of our path as to where we were going to go with the show in the Jedi. That's why I love that one more. But like I said, this one a 9 out of 10 for me, comparable to the season premiere this season. Action filled, great character moments,
And
some
yeah,
really
I
exciting
think you hit the
reveals.
nail on the head there. Is in season one at least, and then in the season premiere here in season two. I've always loved when the Mandalorian goes back to like almost this space western style, where the
Yeah.
Mandalorian is sort of a like a vigilante out there, gunslinging vigilante. And I think they went back to that here, especially. Never mind. Hold on. I don't want to bring up the spoilers yet. Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, so forget what you just said when you heard, especially there. But yeah, I love that it was back to sort of that Western style, which was what a lot
Totally.
of season one was, which
Yeah.
got me hooked on this show.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, Robert Rodriguez definitely noticed that, and he said, "You know what? Let me make an action western in the Star Wars universe." So, let's stop right here. One more time. My score 9 out of 10, RB score 10 out of 10. Go watch this episode, guys, if you haven't already. If you already have, you know our scores. Let's talk details and predictions. What do we think is going to happen next? And what do we think about some of the big reveals in this episode, big plot developments? Let's start off at the beginning, our opening scene, RB. We get a little bit of banter between, he's like, Grogu, Grogu. And it's pretty fun. I thought it was pretty comedic.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, I love the intro to this episode. Seeing the intro to the episode though, I thought it was going to be just a campy, stupid side mission. But that I did love the intro. He gets his attention. Go, all right, give me the ball, and he doesn't want to give him the ball, and then he gets it, and then you finally get to see him, again use the Force as commanded.
Remember when he says that? I don't know what that means, but they have been saying it all season. Take Ferric. I don't know what that means. Like, it's just a curse, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, and you could tell that in this episode, especially, like Ahsoka hinted at the end of last episode, Mando's like a father to him, and
Yes.
Mando actually cares a lot about him. But he has to keep true to his mission. He has to get Grogu to his people, the Jedi, and he has to complete his training. He says, "Don't you want to learn more of that Jedi stuff?" And I loved how he does that. That's so great. Such a good characterization for Mando there. And like you said, RB, the biggest surprise for me in this episode is I sat down and I was like, all right, are we going to go on a side mission again after the amazing episode last week and, a masterpiece in every sense of the word? I thought, can they follow it up? And I thought, are we going to get somewhere like a side mission on the way to Tython?
That's what I thought we were going for. But I think I got more and more excited when we had the episode or the chapter name released and we saw the tragedy. I mean, just that name sort of gets you excited.
You're like,
something.
Oh,
big
damn, they're going for it. Yeah.
And I didn't realize how close we were to the end of the season too. I mean, we only have 2 more episodes.
Yeah, it's coming up, and so I think we should talk about next in the chronological order. They actually go as soon as I saw them land on this planet, I was like, oh damn, they're already at Tython. There's no side mission. We're going right into it. Let's go. He puts Grogu on top. Oh well, first of all, really comedic scene. He's like, oh, I can't land there. It's too small of a landing spot.
We'll make the rest of the way with the windows down.
Yeah, like Baby Yoda's ears are flapping.
Yeah, with the jetpack. Love that.
And he's like screaming. He's like, ah! It's so great. And he places him down on the stone, and he's like, okay, kid, do your thing. And he's like, Ahsoka said, he's like, this is all you. He's like, this is all your part. All I had to do was bring you here. Yeah. And then he's just like
playing with the butterflies. Yeah. Great comedy to start off this episode for sure. But then we take a pretty heavy turn pretty quickly.
Oh yeah. And what shows up, Ryan? And how hyped were you when you saw it?
Yeah. Hopefully I get the name of the ship right. Yep. Slave One, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Slave One shows up, and I'm getting excited because I know you and I talked about we weren't sure if Boba Fett was going to show back up after the season premiere, if that was just a little Easter egg. But the ship comes line, and we know it's him. I mean, I'm so excited. And then, of course, Mando turns around, and then you have Baby Yoda with, like, the Force aura over him. He tries to grab him, and it throws Mando out. So, he's, like, here on the Seeing Stone doing what he's supposed to do, as Ahsoka said,
Which
Force.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up the whole part with Mando trying to get him and getting knocked back. This is one of my nitpicks, one of my negatives for this episode.
I think we're going to agree on this one. Go ahead.
Mando not only tries to get Baby Yoda out of there, not one time, not 2 times, but 3 times it
I
felt like they were
agree.
stalling at some
By
point.
the third time, I was like, this is a little ridiculous. Yeah.
Like
I
he
mean, how
didn't
many
figure it
times?
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So that's
No,
my
I agree
first
with you.
nitpick.
Absolutely. I see what you're saying there. I
Yeah,
was going to bring that up too.
yeah, totally. So that's kind of my first nitpick. But let's talk about one of the best parts of this episode where, once again, spoilers, guys. I mean, I feel like I have to say it before I say this big reveal here. Boba Fett confronts Mando on Tython. And how hyped were you to see him?
Oh,
I've been
that
hunting you for a
standoff
long time,
is
Mandalorian.
so amazing. Where he goes, I want the armor. Well, then you'll have to peel it off my cold dead body. Not
Yeah.
your armor, my armor.
Yeah, dude, the dialogue was really awesome there.
So awesome. Yeah, that to me was quintessential Robert Rodriguez. Like you could see that standoff happening in a graphic novel, and I loved how it was put to screen.
Yeah, totally. And then how about the callback to one of RB's favorite Star Wars movies, Attack of the Clones, where Boba Fett says, first Mando says, "Who are you?" And then Boba Fett says, "I'm just a simple man trying to make my way through the galaxy." Just like Jango Fett says in Attack of the Clones when Obi-Wan asked him the same question. Yeah. What do you think about that callback, dude? That was great.
That was exciting. Yeah, I got really hyped when he said it because it's the same actor who played Jango Fett in the prequels, right?
Yeah, because Boba Fett's a clone of his father.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and I was so hyped when they went with that line. The whole dialogue given Boba Fett probably is my favorite character in The Mandalorian. And I know we've seen him for a full episode and like 30 seconds before cutting to the credits, but I mean the dialogue. He's a badass in this episode. He's so good. I love what they did with Boba Fett. I was curious what they were going to do, but I love that he's sort of this old, wise, fighter. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that we need to kind of talk about here that, very controversial part of Return of the Jedi. Boba Fett kind of dies like, a little punk in that one. He just gets poked in the back with his jetpack, and, people were very disappointed with the way he died. They made him to be this incredible most deadly bounty hunter in the world, and he kind of just dies by accident by a blind Han Solo, right? Just pokes him in the back of his jetpack and he flies into the Sarlacc. In your opinion, RB, from the action sequences in this episode alone, I think my answer to this question is yes, by the way. Did they make up for that death in this episode?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just thinking about, obviously him and Mando kind of make an alliance, and him with that staff and just breaking the stormtroopers' helmets and like that. That was so cool. I was hoping for something like that.
How about though, so we have him hooded, as just sort of a normal human figure. But then when he shows up in the armor and he's going ham, he's got the blaster, and I love the kill where he grabs the stormtrooper and puts the blaster right up against his chest and just fires. Love that. And then of course you get the quintessential scene with the missile on the back. And he knocks down the 2 ships that are flying away, the stormtrooper ships. And Mando goes, "Nice shot." And he goes, "I was aiming for the other one."
Great banter there. Great dialogue.
So awesome, yeah.
And one other character that returns in this one was from last season. I know the actress' name is Ming-Na Wen. She was Mulan's voice.
Yeah, she was Mulan in the animated films, not the new live action one. Thank goodness.
What did you think about her return?
Yeah, I was excited. I had to pause and just go back and read, who she was. She was from the shooter, right? Where she was on Tatooine. Yeah.
And she was killed at the end of that episode.
That's right. Yeah. And there's that great sequence where she goes, fate comes in many, or some fate comes in many. Boba Fett was mine.
Yeah, Boba Fett, he said, what did he say? Boba Fett says, fate has a way of saving the wretched. I thought that was a pretty cool line too.
And she pulls up her shirt, and she's got all the technology there. So that's cool. I mean, that sort of gives us an idea of how Boba Fett survived after falling into the Sarlacc pit. I'm sure. So I thought that was really neat.
And like you said, Boba getting the armor on, dude. How freaking awesome was that? And he's just wrecks like a whole battalion of stormtroopers, boom, knee rockets. How cool was that? The knee rockets were insane. Yeah, dude. Yeah. And then, of course, we get trying to speed it up here to the conclusion of this episode. We get a cut to Giancarlo Esposito as Moff Gideon. Once again, every time this guy is on screen, you feel his presence. And he says, "Are the Dark Troopers ready for deployment?" Momentarily. Boom, the Dark Troopers come down, and we get to see they're these giant robots that he's built to take down Mandalorian.
Okay,
What do you think?
and here's where that was my other nitpick from this episode.
Okay.
I was disappointed with how the Dark Troopers looked, because in my thoughts were when we saw, I don't remember if it was last episode or the previous, with Moff Gideon,
Yeah.
with all those, and I'm assuming those are the Dark Troopers. I thought they were going to look like Darth Vader, because to me that's what they looked like when the initial scene that we saw them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, seeing them, I thought they looked kind of stupid. They kind of reminded me of like the drones in Iron Man 2.
I thought they looked awesome, dude. They looked like they look like they had the dark armor from Rogue One. You know how they have the black armor in Rogue One, some of the stormtroopers. It looks like he took that and then he just made them robotic because he needed something more advanced to take down Mandalorian. He's realizing. I think that's what his whole plan was for those guys.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I thought they were cool, and I mean, they executed their mission. I just thought they kind of looked. I mean, like I said, they looked like they were out of Iron Man or something. You know,
maybe once we actually see him fight.
Yeah, but of course they are able to get an exhausted Baby Yoda and take him up, and you see Boba Fett, he
chasing
thinks
him
chasing him in Slave One, and Mandalorian says, no, I don't want the child harmed, and they listen and say no, end pursuit, because clearly these people have made a pact, and Boba Fett, and that they will protect the child as long as Boba Fett gets his armor back.
That leads me to probably my biggest negative on this episode, or at least something I would have done differently, or something that I didn't feel was done right, was Boba Fett's a good guy too soon, I think, in this one. I get it that he says he doesn't have any allegiance to anybody, and he's a man that honors his deal. I'm cool with all of that. And this is something they set up in the Clone Wars when they show you a young Boba and how he's kind of, when he's younger, he's trying to live up to his father's image. He's trying to be a man that's respected, not just feared. And I like that they are continuing that. But to me, I think they should have been adversaries a little longer. I think that they could have way ratcheted up the intensity if Mando and Boba are mid-battle and they're having this insane battle, and then all of a sudden, boom, the Empire's coming down. The Empire and Mando has to fight Boba Fett and the Empire before him and Boba then team up. I think there should have been more adversary there.
I disagree, and maybe it's just because it's the end of the season, but I love that Boba Fett is a good guy, and that we are most likely going to get through the end of the season Boba Fett and Mando working together, as well as Ming-Na Wen's character, trying to get the child back. And then my prediction is we're going to get them on a Republic ship, and because it's the Republic still now, right? Even though it's not the New Republic. No, I'm saying the bad guys. What are we still calling them? The Old Republic or pre-First Order, whatever we want to call them?
Oh, the Empire, you mean?
Yeah, the Empire. Sorry, not the Republic. Yeah, the Empire.
Yeah.
On an Empire ship trying to rescue Baby Yoda, and I think some Jedi are going to show up as well because, he was able to contact the Jedi on the Seeing Star. We're going to have this awesome battle between, stormtroopers and the Dark Troopers, and then of course at the end, Moff Gideon with the Darksaber against some Jedi, and of course Mando and Boba Fett. I'm not even going to go forward with saying, I love the imagery of Boba Fett with the old Mandalorian armor. And then, of course, Mando with his, nice Theskar armor, almost looking like a father and son character, or a mentorship character that he's going to learn a lot from Boba Fett. Because Boba Fett, they're playing as this older, wiser man who's going to, I think mentor almost Mando a little bit in how to go and rescue Grogu.
Yeah, totally. And I can see where they're going with that. For me, Boba Fett was a bad guy in Empire Strikes Back. He was a bad guy in Return of the Jedi. How is he a good guy all of a sudden?
But was he a bad guy or was he a bounty hunter?
That's the thing, is I could see that too. Maybe he's just, following his mission. He's just a man
that's
who's
exactly
for hire.
What you said. He's a man, and his price was the armor, and he received his armor back, and now he's willing to go and do good on his deal and protect the child, protect Grogu, especially because I love that he has matured. I think if they wanted to play him as a bad guy, they wouldn't have aged him this way. They wouldn't have brought Ming-Na Wen's character back and shown that he sort of saved her life on the sands of Tatooine. So I think, that's definitely what it is.
I just wanted more of an explanation is my point, because
maybe
why
we
is
will
he
get
good
it in the next couple of episodes.
I think maybe what they're going to go at, and maybe they'll explain it more, is that maybe getting shot into the Sarlacc pit like that and facing death like that kind of woke him up. And now that's the kind of character progression I wanted to see, is like now after facing death like that, he's kind of decided to become more of an honorable, respectable, good guy. And I can see
Now,
that.
how long again does this take place after Return of the Jedi?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
But we
and
never saw Boba Fett without his helmet on in the.
no,
We just saw Jango and then young Boba in the prequels. Okay, I just
correct.
wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And speaking of Django there, RB, we finally get an explanation,
Yes.
a definitive answer. He pulls out his chin code or whatever he calls it, and he says, "Here's me. Here's my father." And then I like doing the Boba Fett voice, but
It's great. Yeah.
and he says, "Here's my father." And he says, and then Mando says, "Big reveal for me at least, because we didn't know if Jango Fett stole the armor or
Right,
whether or not he
yes.
was a Mandalorian." He says, "Oh, your father was a foundling," and Boba Fett replies, "Yes, he fought in the Mandalorian Civil Wars."
Civil Wars. Yeah.
That was really cool. A lot of
Mhm.
history there you could feel in those lines.
Oh, absolutely. And we even got it earlier on in the episode where he's talking about, the armor was given to your father, to my father by your forefathers or something like that.
Yeah.
So we understand a little bit more about Django too and how he came with, originally had the Theskar armor
Yeah.
in the prequels.
Yeah, totally. And I love that they're adding more backstory and all
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
And I think we should get into the final scene and predictions now. Of course, maybe running a little long on this one, but this was such an awesome episode.
Oh, yeah.
So we got, of course, we have, Mando and Boba right in the slave one, which is awesome all the way, and we get Cara Dune. Her character comes back, and she's now working for the Republic. She's kind of a marshal of some sort for the Republic. And he's looking for his old snipe shooter guy, Bill Burr, right? Of course, going to
The
be
guy with the
returning in
third
next
arm.
week. Yeah, coming back with a new episode.
Honestly, really curious to see what they do with him because he is one of my least favorite, guest stars we've had in Mandalorian so far.
I agree with you there. I want to
Yeah.
see if they can improve on that storyline they had last season with him. So obviously we're going to get to see him and Boba go after this guy, maybe find a way to get to Moff Gideon's Star Cruiser. That would be really great. But let's focus on the final scene. We get to see Baby Yoda using the Force willy-nilly in this
Oh,
episode.
yeah, just beating the crap out of those stormtroopers.
Yeah, dude. And then, of course, Moff Gideon, very intimidating, lights up the Darksaber right in Baby Yoda's face. You're
Mhm.
not ready for this yet. I love all the lines with
Right,
Moff
but
Gideon.
first, doesn't he say something like, you remember one of these from days past, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. So, and because you see Baby Yoda sort of reach for it, or
Yeah.
Grogu. Yeah.
Grogu, yeah. Yeah, dude. And then, of course, Grogu tired, and they shackle Grogu and stun him. I was so sad to see them treating Grogu like that. But yeah, dude. And Moff Gideon definitely has some sort of plan. Of course, it has to do with Dr. Pershing, who's the guy that was taking his blood in season 1. Something to do with cloning.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead. What are your theories for this, RB?
Oh, so I think it's all fallen into place. Now, unfortunately, I think we're going to get an awesome finale, but we're going to have to wait for a side mission to go pick up Bill Barr in episode 7 or chapter 15 now.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to end up back on whatever the name of the planet is that Carl Weathers' character is on, where we ended season 1, where we found that, that testing facility. I feel like we're going to end up back there. Of course, Carl Weathers is going to be back, as well as the Marshal, who, the Republic Marshal, who we saw earlier.
Cara Dune.
Cara Dune, thank you. So I think she's going to get involved as well. And then, of course, we're going to have Boba Fett and Mando. And there's going to be a great battle up there, And I think at the last minute, the Jedi are going to show up as well to try and rescue Baby Yoda. So you're going to have an awesome standoff. I'm hoping that we get back in the season finale, Ahsoka, and we're just going to have an awesome, lightsaber battle between Ahsoka with her 2 lightsabers, and of course the Darksaber with Moff Gideon, and then we're going to have Mando and Jango just beating up on the Dark Troopers as well. I think we're going to get some awesome action sequences, and just my prediction is it's going to be the same place where season 1 ended, but in that lab where you can see, they were, taking Baby Yoda's blood or Grogu's blood, as we saw in those transmissions when we were there in chapter 12.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that my prediction is I think that's a really great prediction, RB. I think my prediction is obviously with Mando and Boba together teaming up now, they're going to get Bill Burr. And I think the pace that they're keeping in this season is fantastic. I think we're going to get to see Mando versus Moff Gideon with his new Beskar staff, because obviously we've seen Beskar can repel lightsabers. So I
True, yeah.
think it's going to be Mando with his new Beskar staff fighting Gideon with the dark saber. Boba trying to save Grogu while Mando's distracting Gideon. And I don't think we're going to get to see who the Jedi is until our season finale. And I have
Oh, okay.
two
So that's
predictions.
just your prediction for chapter 15.
Right. And then
Okay, I thought you were saying, yeah, gotcha.
yeah, and then I think my prediction for our season finale is one of two things. My realistic expectation is we're gonna get to see Ezra from Star Wars Rebels grown up, come back to train Grogu. But my fan prediction that I really want to see is I want to see Luke Skywalker show up,
Right.
meet eyes with Boba Fett. We get to see a brief duel between them that we always have wanted to see. Then Mando shows up and breaks it up and says, "No, you're the Jedi we've been waiting for. Boba's with me. We all need to team up and take down Gideon." And then we get to see Mando and Luke Skywalker fight Gideon to save Grogu. And I think that's going to be our finale. But I don't know. I think it could also be Ezra. Who knows? I really
So you don't think Ahsoka's back at all this season?
I think that's all we get to see for her this season. And I think we won't see her till next season.
I don't know that I agree with that, but okay.
I'd love, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see Ahsoka. I would be totally awesome, freaked out if we saw Ahsoka again.
I don't think we're done with her yet.
I think next season we're going to see her again interacting with Bo-Katan, because you don't know this yet, obviously, RB, but her and Bo-Katan go way back, so I think that she's going to be helping her in some way take back Mandalore.
And of course, that's undertoned in the episode. We have both Bo-Katan, the heiress, and then later in the Jedi, of course, in the heiress, when she sends Mando to Ahsoka Tano, that is Bo-Katan, and then when you have that great sequence where Mando and Ahsoka are fighting out in whatever planet they were at, I forget the name, and he says, "No, Bo-Katan sent me to talk to you about something," and she goes, "I hope it's that," and pointing to Grogu.
Yeah,
I hope it's him. Yeah. So you even if you hadn't seen Rebels like myself, you can understand they have a pretty solid relationship.
Yeah, totally. And man, another fantastic episode. I feel like we covered every bit we can. I guess the only thing that we can theorize on left, and our final point here, is why are they cloning Baby Yoda? Why are they taking his blood? My opinion is they're trying to tie in the Mandalorian as the bridge over to the new sequels with Rey and Kylo Ren and all that. And I think that this is the beginning of the experiments to clone the Emperor. They're trying to get the midichlorians from Grogu's blood, and they're trying to find a way to transplant it so that there's a powerful enough body to put the Emperor back to power.
Right, because we've seen, obviously the Emperor, as far as we know, died at the end of Return of the Jedi, and then we see him come back. But, we've only heard the Emperor and Grogu, we've seen it as the only Jedi that can restore life, or Sith and Jedi. We hear, of course, in Revenge of the Sith. Too. That's right. We do see Rey with it as well. But Rey isn't around yet. We don't even know if Rey's alive. I would assume she's not yet.
She's not yet. Yeah, probably not. I mean, she's what, in the Force Awakens, the first time we see her, she's got to be what, like 19?
Well, I guess she has to be alive because she's the granddaughter of she's the Emperor, not the daughter.
Yeah, she's the daughter of a clone of the Emperor that went and ran away. So that's how she's his granddaughter.
Okay, got it.
She's only like a clone. Yeah. She can only be like what, 21 in the Force Awakens. Probably somewhere
in there, yeah.
And that's still 30 years away.
16 to 20, yeah.
Yeah, and that's still 30 years away.
30.
Yeah. So
she's not born yet. Yeah.
So I think we covered everything in this episode. Another fantastic episode. Guys, give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter. For me, you can find me at Dom Gonzalez 48. For RB, you can find his Instagram at RB_the_SID. And you can find his Twitter at RB with the call. All one word right there. And, shout us out a sentence or two, a comment or two. I've been posting a little more on Twitter, trying to talk about some movies that I've been liking. some stuff like that. And, maybe RB will get down to posting some stuff he's watching too. And we'll keep you updated on Twitter and Instagram. Send us a comment on there or a private message if you want to give us some feedback. Feel free to, as always. And with that said, like RB said, we're going to be getting into our new top of the list headquarters soon. And I think that our first episode will certainly be something special. Don't want to give it away yet. Want to keep the fans anticipating, but definitely going to be something special. So keep an eye out for that as well, coming at you sometime in the following week or so. We're still in the process of moving in. I'm going over there today to move in. So RB, any final words to close out this episode?
Yeah, no, we've just got, a lot of good content coming for you guys too. Of course, the Mandalorian stuff we've been hitting pretty heavy now. But of course, once the season's over, we've got some great content coming for you guys. Some Netflix original series that Dom had suggested for me that I'm starting to watch that I'm sure we'll get reviews out soon. Also, definitely highly anticipated. I haven't gotten a chance to watch because of the move, but Dom watched, and I think we'll definitely have a review in the future. Of course, the Hulu original film Run, starring Sarah Paulson. So really excited to talk about that one. We'll probably have a review coming. But otherwise, yeah, definitely leave us comments what you'd like to see, what content you guys would like to see from us at Top of the List. But, for Dom and myself, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Top of the List, and have a great week.